Hey guys, what's up? And today we're going to be starting a brand new series of a Premiership review where I go through every single club's season in the Premiership. So obviously we're going to start off in alphabetical order. That means we're going to start off with a scum. Get the work out of the way first. Anyway, this video we're going to be doing Arsenal. We're going to be looking at how many goals each player scored and who needs to improve next year. We're going to start off with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who got 10 goals and 4 assists in his little time at the Emirates in January, and really that's good, considering he's only been playing Premiership. That's good, and he's been put out wide a few times. I think give him a full season he can really flourish. Next on to one of the most controversial ones at Arsenal currently, and that is Mesut Ozil, who really has not yet performed for Arsenal like he should have done. He's shown little flashes at times, but he never performed like he should have done. And just being involved in 17 goals, the amount of games he played this year, just isn't good enough. And I really think they should cash in on him whilst they can, and sign someone a lot better, which I will move on to in a little while. Next we're going to be moving on to Alexander Lacazette, who's been Arsenal top goal scorer this season by a country mile really, by 6 ahead of the second top goal scorer. So we got 17 goals and 4 assists this year, which for a big money signing is quite good, considering there was a lot of pressure on him at the start of the season to perform, and a lot of people watching him to see if he could take the limelight off Alexis a bit and take the main aim once Alexis left. But he kind of shone this year in a team which kind of didn't do very well. So he had an average season. No, in fact he had a good season considering it was his first in the Prem. Next we're going to be moving on to Petr Cech, who's got too old now, really. He started making mistakes. He's not the comfortable kind of self he used to be. He needs to go, really, or at least sit on the bench a bit more. And we will be looking into who they could sign as his replacement later. But anyway, the next person we're going to be moving on to is the other January signing, in Henrikh Mkhitaryan, who was involved in 8 goals in his short time at the Emirates. But he struggled to break into the Europa League team and was mainly playing in the second string team in the Prem, trying to break into the Europa League team. But he never really managed it, and that really was the deciding factor in him not really doing averagely. And in fact, he was average in his time this year, and he really needs to improve. Him and Ozil both need to create a bit more for Arsenal, really. Next, we're going to be moving on to Aaron Ramsey, who was actually involved in 20 goals this year, scoring 11 for himself, and that is a lot considering he plays deeper sometimes. And he's actually, considering he was in a rubbish team at times, he's had a good season and he dug them out with a few holes this year, in the end, eventually. But I think he was one of the stars of the season, for definite. Next we're going to be moving to Shkodran Mustafi, who's got 3 goals and 1 assist this year. But he got a lot of people criticising him, and it's easy to see why. Because he made some blatant defensive errors this year, which have cost Arsenal at times. And he's done quite badly this year, considering. That's why a lot of Arsenal fans want to cash in on him and take the money and run. Next we're going to be moving to Laurent Koscielny, who contributed with 2 goals this year. But he's been a rock at times for the Arsenal, when a lot of players haven't done very well for them, really. He played 2,227 minutes overall, and considering he But he'll be a big miss at the start of next season, considering he might not make it to the start of next season with his ruptured Achilles. You wouldn't expect him to make it, and he'll be difficult to replace. Like they haven't looked as solid defensively since he got injured, and they went out to Atletico Madrid, which they might not have done with him in it. They're going to be moving on to Granit Xhaka, who's got 3 goals and 7 assists this year. So for a deep line playmaker, that's pretty good. But he does need to improve his discipline a bit. He's been quite poor disciplinary wise this year, really. And that's why a lot of Arsenal fans don't like him. Or think he needs to rein it in a bit, really. He needs to improve a bit. Next we're going to be moving on to Jack Wilshere, who's got 2 goals and 5 assists this year, but has actually played quite a bit of football this year, considering he's normally injured a lot. He's had a consistent run of games this year, and that's why I think he's had a really productive year and should really be in the squad to go to the World Cup with England. If England get themselves into a hole, they might need someone like him to dig them out of it. Next we're going to be moving on to Kolasinac, who's got 4 goals and 4 assists in his first season at Arsenal. A lot of people were raving about him to start off with. After his injury he dipped a bit and was out of the team for a little while. Sinacho Monreal and people like that. But now he's got back into the team. He's played some really good football this year, and again, one of their better players this year in a shockingly bad team. Next we're going to be moving on to Hector Bellerin, who's also played a lot of football this year, but has a lot to improve on next year. And I don't think... Oh no, he scored 3 goals this year, and he's got 5 assists, which for a fullback, the assists you're not surprised by, but you are quite surprised by the goals really, considering he managed to get that many goals somehow. I think he's Arsenal's best promising, he's Arsenal's most promising player, for definite, with his pace, his quality when delivering the ball, and he's just got a certain quality about him. Next we're going to be moving on to Nacho Monreal, who's had a really good season actually going forward. Offensively he was a bit more iffy, but considering he got 6 goals and 2 assists, he's been a real danger from set pieces this year. And he could be one of the players to replace Shelby next year, if they decide to move him to centre back again. Cazorla hasn't played. Per Mertesacker, he's retiring. At the end, he's retired today, and I'm not really that surprised considering he's been injured a lot, and he hasn't played a lot of football this year really. But he still managed to contribute 2 goals out of 3 shots on target, which is pretty consistent for a centre half. Next we're going to be moving on to Danny Welbeck, who got 10 goals and 2 assists this year, which considering he played a lot of time on the bench and came on for like half an hour to make an impact, he's had a good season. And I think he should also be on a plane to Russia, on the bench at least. And I'm surprised mid-table side and looked into snapping him up, but now he got into the Arsenal team, I don't reckon he would ever leave now. Ospina, another one who's had quite an average season really. He'd made a few mistakes, but he'd been Czech's understudy for most of it, so, you know, he might have been a bit rusty a few times. El Neni, who's got, he's got 1 goal and 2 assists this year, but he got injured towards the end of the year, so I don't think he played since his injury. But him, like Xhaka, has mainly been sitting in front of the back four when Xhaka's not been there. Sometimes they've been there together in big games to try and hold out, but he's had an okay season. Next we're going to be moving on to Alex Iwobi, who got 3 goals and 5 assists this year, and who's still very young. And considering he's been used in midfield, he's been used at left midfield, right midfield, wing back, centre midfield this year. Cam, he's been used nearly everywhere. He's had a good season, he has. He's promising. Callum Chambers, who I don't think has scored this year. No, he hasn't scored this year. But he's been mainly sitting on the bench, and he's not half the player he used to be when he was at Southampton, the promising kid who they all thought could go miles for England and that. Next, we'll be looking at Rob Holding, who's only got 1 goal this year. And he hasn't really played that much. He's mainly been on the bench, coming in for cup games. Amy Maitland-Niles has had a really good year this year. He's really shone, and he does not look anything like the player who struggled at Ipswich to get into the team, whose mum had to go crying to Mick to get him into the team. He looks not even half that player anymore. And once he got into the team, he's mainly been there for the Prem game towards the end of this year. Mavropanos, who had a really good end to the season at centre-half against Man United, but then he got sent off against Leicester, and that put a bit of a dampener on it. But he's had an okay season when he come in, as Ireland hasn't played. Reece Nelson is meant to be 101 for the future as well at 17. He's had quite a good end to the season. And the last one worth mentioning is Nicotia, who's got, I think he got like 2 goals this year. Yeah, 2 goals from 4 shots. Now that's pretty good for him, really. For a young striker, he could be another one to watch out for in the future. Next, we're going to be looking at Arsenal transfer targets. I'll order them by position. In goal, they've been linked to Castells, Leno, Butland, McCarthy and Nick Pope. Nick Pope's had a really good year this year, but I don't think he'd leave Burnley for Arsenal, not now. Alex McCarthy has had a really good end to the year, and Southampton he saved him a few times. Leno has been linked with Arsenal for the last few years. He's quite a good German goalkeeper, normally back up to Neuer. Castells is quite a new one to me. Hadn't really heard of him before. But my priority in goalkeeper for Arsenal right now would definitely be Jack Butland, because he's just been relegated. He could be available a bit cheaper than expected. Next could be moving on to Piscini, who's been linked as a right back for Arsenal. He's been linked as a replacement for Bellerin if Bellerin leaves, and as a backup for Bellerin. I think it would be better if he was a backup for Bellerin, because he's not quite Bellerin overall yet. Arsenal have been linked with a few centre-halves, including Koulibaly, Johnny Stones, Rugani and Harry Maguire. Out of the centre-half, I would definitely be prioritising Koulibaly and Rugani, so I think they could be some really good centre-half. But also another option could be Johnny Evans, who they were linked with a lot, who's also just been relegated. They've been linked with Kazawa from PSG, but I think that would be if Monreal would move to centre-half. And honestly, I think that would be a good decision, because then Kazawa could fight Kolasinac or replace Kolasinac. The next one we're going to be looking at is Riyad Mahrez, who's been linked with Arsenal for the last few years, and they now think that he could be leaving this year and he would prioritise Arsenal or Tottenham. Honestly, Riyad Mahrez is a controversial one. If it was Bale or Mahrez for Tottenham right now, it would be Bale any day of the week, hands down. Which is why I'd rather him go to Arsenal than we get Bale. However, if we don't get Bale, then I'd be happy with Mahrez. And the next option is centre midfield. Arsenal have been linked with Zelisnich and Ozjukup. Honestly, I prioritise Ozjukup out of the two, because Ozjukup is a bit better in my mind. At left midfield, they've been linked with Lamar and Martial. I think sign them both, put Martial on the right potentially, if they can't get Mahrez. But Lamar was linked a lot with Arsenal last year, and almost signed had Alexis deal gone through. Whereas Martial has only just been linked the last few days. He stormed off at United today. He stormed off before 1 o'clock at United today, and his United career looks to be all but over. Arsenal are also looking at Cam to replace Ozil. Their main objective would have to be Fekir, with Forsberg as their secondary objective. I think sign one of them two and then get Zhirkov or Zhirkov or Madison as backup, and I think that could be really productive. Another option at Cam or striker could be Dries Mertens, who I think would be a really good signing. Wherever they play him would be great. At right wing, they've been linked with Malcolm and Dembele. I think the most likely one would probably be Malcolm, because I doubt Dembele would want to leave Barcelona and fought so hard to make it back into the team. They've also been linked with youngster Sessignon, but it thought he's going to go to Tottenham or PSG, so I doubt they'll win that race. But anyway guys, thank you for watching this. I know it's a bit longer than usual, but I will be doing a video for each of the 20 teams in the Premiership for this. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow.